I'm Sarah Burke, and this is the Women in Media podcast. And today's guest is someone who I've been hoping to have on the show for years now. She's someone who's spent 3 decades behind the mic in Canadian radio and television. She's worked across many of the country's biggest radio stations. I know you will know her voice, from CFRB to Q107, Easy Rock, Boom, Energy, and Fresh Radio. She's been an airborne traffic reporter, a national TV host on CMT, and you've probably heard her voice on CBC, Discovery, and HGTV. She does a lot of imaging as well. Beyond the resume, though, unfortunately, like many other women, she's someone who's experienced firsthand the realities that many of us have faced in the media landscape. And too often we stay silent. She's not staying silent anymore. She's speaking openly about some of those experiences, and we're going to get into all of it today. Please welcome Colleen Rusholme to the show. How are you?
I'm great. It's so nice to be here and so strange to be on the other side.
I know. And so before we hit record here, we're just like laughing about how we feel like we sort of know each other.
Yeah.
We've heard each other's names so many times, but you are completely out of radio right now, and that must be pretty freeing. Is that correct to say?
Not seeing 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I just got so tired. I was done. Going to bed when you hear kids literally on the playground still is a weird feeling.
I only did morning radio for I want to say it was 3 months. I was filling in while someone had a medical leave, and that was enough for me, I would say.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but 30 years I felt like it was enough and it was time, and I'm busy doing other things now. I miss it, but I don't miss that alarm clock.
What was your favorite chapter in radio? Maybe take us back to some of your favorite moments on air.
I think every place I've been at, I feel lucky that I've worked every format, from talk to country to rock to currents. Every single genre has moments of my favorite, whether it be my co-hosts, people that I got to work with, the music. I remember when I was asked to do country with Stu Jeffries. That's how we started together before Easy Rock.
And just for a little context, Stu Jeffries currently on mornings on Boom 97 here in Toronto.
Yes. I was told, listen, country is not something you can fake. The listeners will smell you a mile away. You have to do all the research for country. And I did. And the day I started on CMT, Johnny Cash died.
No!
And I swear to God. And I had to go, and now this radio girl had to put on makeup for TV and talk about Johnny Cash. Did I know him? Sure. Could I talk about him at length for longer than 10 seconds? Absolutely not. So I'm doing all this research, or they're doing my hair and they're doing all this makeup stuff. I'm
oh my God.
Johnny Cash died today. I was just, oh my God. But that was a really fun format to work, other than that horrible day.
And what was the difference for you in performing for radio and performing for TV?
Well, it's this. It's even seeing you right now and not looking around a room and having conversation. You present a little different. And I find with radio people, we can, we're chilling out in our chair. All of a sudden, posture means something. Am I wearing my lipstick? Okay. It's tough. You got to hold your tummy in. I want to relax when I'm on the radio. Did I enjoy it? Absolutely. But it was never my focus to be on TV. But it was fun.
If you were to ask, your diehard listeners, what did you become known for on the air over those 30 years? Any format, what do you think it was?
That is a good question. Most people have talked to me about my laugh, my hearty, big laugh, and probably my family anecdotal stuff. I talked about my dad a lot on the air, the weatherman, Papa RushHome.
Okay.
You know what? It's funny being a personality. You know what I mean? You're yourself as much as you can be. But I think the best thing, and I've heard lots of broadcasters say this that have retired, is I was their friend. They wanted to hang out with me. Whenever we did contesting where it was girls getaway to New York City, or even just to Mani-Pedi, they wanted to hang out with me. They're I love my girls, love hanging out.
Yeah.
So I felt like they let me into their little circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I think. I've never been asked that question before.
What was one of the hardest things about your life to pull back the curtain on? Because, a big thing, both radio and TV is, you want to be relative to your audience and you want to share and be authentic. What's one of the harder things you've shared on the air over the years?
Ooh, where I've had to be really honest.
Yeah.
Well, a long, long time ago, I was engaged to be married,
Okay.
and that fell apart. So I pretended to have food sickness for a couple days, and then I went right back to work. I was like, "Some bad swish on it," and I went back to work. And then eventually, with the help of my safe people in that room, it was Stu at the time, Stu Jeffries. We talked
Yeah.
about what happened, and the phone lines light up of
Because
women
it's
and men.
so relatable.
It turns out it wasn't just me. And
Yeah, no
everybody
kidding.
had a story, and they were really supportive.
Yeah.
So that's probably thankfully my parents are still with me. I think that would have been something that would have been difficult to talk about on the air.
Yeah.
But for me at
Wow.
that time, having a whole wedding that was planned falling apart was deep, man.
Oh my
And
God.
good. Now sitting here, I'm like, that was
Yeah.
not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But that was hard to talk about on the air. It was. It felt
Yeah.
really personal. And it's hard to be honest about it. I
Oh
remember I
yeah.
did tell this one story on the air. Like every day you're sad. I get off the air and I cry in the car and I cry in my apartment
Oh.
and I'd run to my bed and I cried. And then one day I ran to my bed and went, I was done. I was like, it all had to come out. So it was done. There's
Oh
always
my
an
goodness.
end to the grief. That's what I tell young women now whose hearts are broken. It's like, that's okay. There's an end.
That's very fair. That's very
Yeah.
fair. What got you into the industry? Like, what is it that pulled you in? Like, I want to do that for a living.
I was 6 and I had one of those big ghetto blast. We can't say ghetto blasters. I don't know what news we can say, but I would do the big play and record, and I would record the jocks,
Of
intros and
course you did.
extras. And then
Yeah.
my dad had a microphone, and I would pretend to jock the music. And my next door neighbor was Cyndi Lauper, and I'd interview Cyndi Lauper, and I still have these tapes, which is so wild.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
not even something that I picked. It just kind of I was a kid who wanted to be in radio. I went to high school and I started one of the first radio stations in a high school in the country. And I was
Where?
doing the morning show, Cameron Heights Collegiate Institute in
Okay.
Kitchener.
Okay.
And I did the morning show. I was the program director and I was head of sales,
Hell
major
yeah.
radio station. And
That's amazing.
it's just, and then I did internships at 570 Chime at the time and all the local, and it was just, that was going to be my path. I didn't have a backup plan. I never
Mhm.
did. And I just kept going.
And did you ever set out for like a certain time slot? Like, was there like a goal in like being mornings or afternoons
Give
or,
me anything.
yeah, you just
Give
wanted
me
to
the
be a part of
Saturday
it?
midnight to 6 a.m. I didn't care.
That's
I didn't even really have a plan. I thought my
amazing.
plan when I was in Kitchener was just to work at CKWR, which is like the local public block programming station. I
Yeah.
thought, wouldn't
Yeah.
that be fun? I never thought about the money. I didn't even know what it paid.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to do it. Yeah, it's
The
funny.
love of it.
Yeah. I mean, did you go to school for radio?
I did the Fanshawe and Western Joint Degree Diploma. Yeah.
Fanshawe, fantastic radio school. I went to Fanshawe too. And
Okay.
do you remember those radio nerds? You'd sit and you'd listen to each other and you'd be
Oh
like,
God.
bravo, and hitting that post.
Special
Like we were
breed.
all so into radio.
Yeah.
And once in a while you'll meet a young person that has that still is like, oh, I get
Yeah.
excited. But it is sad to see that
Yeah.
there's not a lot of us left. I failed engineering because the teacher, gosh, what was his name? He said, one day you'll be working at a radio station and the
Yeah.
power will go out. Do you know how to run a board without lights? So did you ever have to do, I'm much older than you, I think. So
Well,
we
no,
had
I
to,
didn't
in the
have to.
dark, cue up a record and do all this stuff because one day the power might go out.
That's so funny. I mean, you went to radio when you were still like splicing tape, correct? Or
The
no?
start of my first job at CFRB, I was still splicing tape, and then we moved on to doing it
Yeah.
all on a computer.
So in radio, you get to do a lot of very cool things, lots of events. Any starstruck moments that stand out? Like anyone cool you got to interview or meet?
Oh gosh, I got to interview Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
He was lovely. Speaking of Johnny Cash, one of my most favorite interviews ever was his daughter Roseanne Cash. Loved her.
Cool. Very cool.
There's a very controversial interview with Tommy Lee that aired on Q107 where he got quite mad at the interview and smashed his headset in a part went in my eye. That's a whole long story.
Why?
He was mad because the host at the time, Howard Kogan, was told don't bring up the fact that he was in prison. And Howard, being who Howard is, brought up that he was in prison, and he got really, really bad. And I was really new to the business. I was like, it's just so shocking. I didn't know what was happening.
Good luck keeping that under wraps, Tommy. God.
Yeah, no kidding.
And he's also taking anger management classes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You got to share the airwaves with a lot of really, just from my perspective, I don't actually know this, so I'm definitely making an assumption here, but seem like great dudes, like Stu Jeffries, Howard, who's known as like Humble Howard, right, in the radio world, because we are going to get into a discussion about, how women have to move through this industry in a completely different way than men. I would like to think that there's some good guys along the way.
Oh, that's funny. I haven't looked at it from that side because there were such good people.
Yeah.
But they really did help me get through it, because having worked with somebody that was really, I know the word gets tossed around a lot, toxic.
Yeah.
Beyond toxic, really.
Yeah.
Those guys were a soft place to land, but I didn't trust them at first. I didn't know what to think. I was so shocked by that.
Yeah.
Stu was a great place to land. Howard was wonderful. Darren, Tim, that they all, but it took them a long time. It took a long time for me to not have to watch what I was going to say or do, or is there a mood change in the room? Is there, what's going on? It took quite a long time. And I love that they were all at my wedding and they all got a microphone and talking. I'm like, these are my guys, outside
so
of your husband.
There was actually a wedding at some point.
Yeah, there was a wedding. Yeah. And it was a great wedding, and I married the best guy ever, and it's been, many, many years now. But
amazing.
The pride of seeing those men with me on such an important day, because they're kind of your work husbands.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. I get it. Why do you think that, like, coming into the industry, you had that idea in your head, like, I don't know if I can trust them yet?
Well, I hate saying naive, but maybe I was. Maybe I was naive when I started the business, because I assumed that every workspace, much like the ones when I was a server and a coffee barista and worked part-time at the convenience store, that my workspace was going to be fair and safe.
Yeah.
And you get in trouble when you're supposed to get in trouble, so don't get in trouble. You follow the rules.
Yeah.
And that sort of shattered when I was 23, and I realized I was kind of shocked by behavior that was happening at that time in the studio. This is at Q107. And it's a really difficult thing. I know I know you want to take
We're
over.
about to get into it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into it. I'll tell you, Sarah, I've never, other than a little social media post, I've had Humble Howard talk about it on my behalf on his podcast, but I've never talked openly to what happened in that time in that room. I don't know how it's going to go. We'll see.
That's okay. No, I completely get it. And I'm honored that you're even trusting me to have this conversation with you. It was weird. Like, I thought I was following all, these amazing broadcast women that I've looked up to for so many years, but you just sort of popped up on my Instagram feed, and I realized I wasn't following you. Maybe I didn't even know you had Instagram. I don't know. But it was around the time that I had gone to support Jen Valentine in her Human Rights Tribunal case, and just to be there for her. It was after you went in that day to support Jen that you were sort of reflecting in real time about facing, a guy that you just called toxic, and a guy who we're going to refer to as your abuser, John Derringer. So I would love to hear, like, 23 years old, like the age when you're in the room with him. First of all, like, I'm going back to me being 23 and stepping into a broadcast booth with, veterans, right? Like, guys that I respected and who I was intimidated just because of their names, nothing else.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
So take me back to 23-year-old Colleen and what happened in that room.
So he was hired. I was doing mornings with Tom Rivers, and then afternoons I was doing a split shift. And then I was told this major broadcaster of huge significance was coming in, and he was coming from Montreal. And had I heard of him? Of course I had. Everybody had.
Yeah.
and they arranged for us to do a one-on-one meet. So we went to, this is at Yonge and Norton, Q107 was up there. And we went to a cafe across the street, and I met him, and he was I gotta be careful. He was very intimidating. He was nice. He was intimidating. He was definitely, like you said, I'm 23, I'm a kid. In that time, we just kind of shut up and did our jobs, and we're on, learned, and sucked it up, and we're sponges, right?
Yep.
And he said to me, what I really like is a lot of sexual tension on the show. So if that's something that you can do. And I'd never been asked that before. I was like, I don't really know what that means. I don't look at myself as sexual that way. I don't know. Again, not naive, but definitely, but there's a reason why I worked rock radio for years too. Because I could do it, but I'd never been asked to do that before. I'm like, what's that? I don't know what that means.
And what time period is this? This is 90s?
This is 1998, 99.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to paint the picture a little bit.
And at first it was great. He was welcomed. It was like a big parade for him. John Derringer coming back to Toronto, and that afternoon drive. So Howard Stern was doing the morning show at that time.
Yes.
And I guess he went there under the promise that eventually he'd be going to mornings. Anyway, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't remember the first day it went south. I actually don't. It was gradual and slow.
Yep.
And it was, the language would change. I'd witness phone conversations just walking into the studio of him talking to his girlfriend at the time. You fucking cunt. You fucking cunt. And I would just be like, oh, okay. And go in the studio. So I'm like, okay, so this person isn't who I think, and we all have many sides. Okay. So I'm just going to make sure I don't get on that side of him. And it's hard to explain to people. He would just yell and scream, but then everyone would go, well, what did you do? It's like, you don't understand. I didn't do anything. Some days I go in and talk. Sometimes I go in and not talk, do the opposite that I did the day before. You never knew what would set him off. Now, I didn't know all the things that were at play in his life at the time. I don't think he was having a good time of it, and he was sort of letting it go. Not to make excuses for his behavior, but it became very scary very, very fast. And if it wasn't on me, it was on somebody else that was in the room at that time, who is also dealing with that stuff to this day. A lot of therapy and whatnot. It felt, because looking back now at 52 and that 23-year-old, I'm getting emotional. I had to tell my parents, and it felt really childlike to tell your parents, like, Mom, Dad, this is happening to me. But I felt embarrassed by it. But it was really fucking scary to go to work every day. And then it became a secret. So he would yell and scream, and he would physically intimidate you as well. And then all of a sudden I get roses sent to my house with a note saying, just keep this between me and you, Pally. That's how we talk. Come on, we're going to be fine. Let's just keep between me and you. So now I'm like this wife or something, this abused wife that's keeping a secret. I couldn't. I started telling people that had no power in the company. I got a note from somebody who used to work payroll back in the day. And she said, you came to me one day and you said, I need help in that room. I don't know what to do. And she moved on to another job outside of radio. She's now head of HR in whatever firm she works at. She's like, Colleen, every fucking week you pop in my mind. I think about that girl that came to my office that I couldn't help. And I don't know if that's why I eventually went to HR, but I remember feeling so helpless for you. So like some coworkers with seniority also that I love and respect to this day also knew, but they didn't know what to do. HR didn't exist at that time, And I knew, hey, let's look at it. Who's going? If there's a problem, I'm the one that's going to go, not this person.
This right here, just pause on that for a sec.
Yeah.
How many women in the industry have said that exact same thing to themselves?
I think
it's going to be me that is let go or fired.
Always.
Like, it's not going to be them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the sad state of affairs that we're still talking about in 2026, unfortunately.
Yeah. Still. See, I want to think that there's hope for young people. I love how young women impress the heck out of me right now. I love the
Yeah.
boundaries. I love that they call shit out, and I feel like they're so strong. I feel jealous of the empowerment they have and happy for them because I
Yeah.
certainly didn't have it. But if you're telling me you still talk to young women that feel that way, that breaks my heart. It really does.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, so you did end up keeping it between you two pallies. Is that fair to
Come
say?
on, Pally. Yeah. And he was very strategic. He would triangulate people, which kind of came
Yeah.
out in the court case too. Um,
Yes.
he would, if he was going for a cigarette, he'd drag you along, go into the washroom. Come on, let's get going. But I'm kind of working, I'm doing stuff. But he always made whoever's in that room come with him because he couldn't. This is me thinking, projecting. He didn't want anybody talking about him. And I would watch him in management meetings and with higher ups and CEOs. And boy, was he ever magical and kind and sweet and funny and smart. And I thought, they don't really know who he is. And I don't know how, if who will believe me. There were a few witnesses back then. That person that was in the room saw it, but not to the level that we did. We kept a secret, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And finally, I got some advice from another program director at the Mix at the time. And he said, you should write a letter. You should write a letter to your program director. This is starting to really screw you up emotionally. Like I could see her falling apart. So I wrote a letter. I found it today, actually.
What?
Do you want to hear some of it?
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, if you're comfortable, go ahead, please.
I said, I basically asked for some change. The stress that I've faced with on a daily basis has made it exceedingly difficult to perform. The loss of dignity and respect has become unbearable. Upon his return from, well, I wrote it, rehab, he apologized for the way he treated me and then went right back to it. I feel fear on a daily basis for what might happen on and off the air. So I was like, really, I was scared. I remember one time the yelling was so bad that I got up in the middle of a show and I took the elevator and I went down to the underground garage and I got in my car and I left mid-show and
Oh,
nobody
wow.
really noticed or said anything. I don't know if that would happen today. I said at the bottom of that letter, if he becomes aware of this, I can't be in the same room with him. The abuse will just get worse. I don't know how it would be. Was he made aware of that letter? Yes, he was. I was put into another studio. And to quote somebody that was in management at the time, they literally said, get her out of here. Because, he was the star and they shipped me off and they brought me to Hamilton. So my whole career went from Toronto radio dream gig but honestly, I was so happy to get away. It's like, I'll drive anywhere to not deal with that stuff anymore. So, and then I kept, that's when the fear around men in the room became kind of a thing and nobody really knows that. But I just got a bunch of great guys after that and women that I got to work with. But that scarred me. That took a long time. And then to see the abuse matters for women and how I was told at that time you probably wouldn't work with a woman again, but there were so many women after me and the abuse continued and for some much longer than me. Mine was about a year and a half. Look at Maureen. She's talked publicly about it. Jennifer, of course. But they kept putting him in a room with a woman. It's like, why did he still have a job at that point? I mean, everybody on that level is a good broadcaster. Was he that important that he could hurt that many people? Did he have lunch with the CEO every Friday? Damn right he did. He knew it. He was good. He was good at this.
Maureen was recently on this podcast as well. And, it's important to remind people that the Human Rights Tribunal case is Jennifer Valentine versus the company. It's not Jennifer Valentine versus him.
That's right.
That is because, even from what you've said on this podcast today, from 1998.
Oh, that's when it started.
It's hard to believe that a company could say we didn't know, right? Or
that's what
we weren't aware.
Did say. And is it fair to say that there's been multiple managers and been ownership from WIC to Chorus and different PDs and national? Sure. But nobody talked about it?
No.
Come on.
Yeah. And so like this idea of a woman having to move around her entire life to continue in her career of choice and her dream gig, that part, I'm angry hearing you say that, even though I know at the time it was better for you to be in a safe place and you were excited to get out of there.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that sacrifice to your own career shouldn't even be on the table. You're not the problem. Right?
I know. But he was
really
the moneymaker.
frustrating.
And when I left Chorus for a bit, I went to other companies
Yeah.
and then came back. I had this.
That's wild that you came back.
I know.
Sorry to say.
No, dude. It's. I couldn't align myself with the company, but I was also in Ottawa when I went back.
That's
so
fair.
it felt different.
Yeah.
I had a great program director. She was wonderful. But then after COVID and my parents aging, I wanted to be back in the city and closer. And because of COVID, we learned that we could do that.
Yes.
And I was going to be back in that building, now a new building, but with this person doing mornings. And a week before, I didn't know what to do. And I thought, what if he tries to hug you? What if he tells you to fuck off? What if he tries to push you? Like I didn't. A week before I'm in that building, Jennifer Valentine releases that video. And I was like, you gotta be
The timing.
me. The timing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through how you were feeling. Like, I know how I felt. That I cried the entire May 2-4 weekend. And like, what does that say about me? I'm in a completely different generation of broadcasting, first of all. So like, you know, there's part of me that's like, oh, I haven't been through this type of shit, right? But then there's also the idea of like how many generations it spans that gets stuck inside your heart, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a sinking feeling.
Well, with women, it's been hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years.
But in our line of work, my goodness. Read
Yeah.
Barbara Walters' book. She's got a lot to say about her career, what happened when she was on television in the 60s.
Oh, I
My
should read
goodness.
it. Jen releases this video. It's, you know, it's a Facebook video. She's talking straight to the camera and just sort of says what she's been through. And so that's what's in the court system right now, this human rights tribunal case. And, you know, we are being a little bit careful about certain things that we're talking around today, just because it is an ongoing case. But yeah, how you felt when you saw another woman actually speak out about this, because
God,
even your way of speaking out was still within the confines of the company, right? This is her going public with lots and lots of followers. How did you feel?
Oh my God. What a hero. Thank God. You know, I really don't think it could have been anybody else who has that kind of power. Toronto sweetheart. Everybody loves Jennifer Valentine. How could this happen to her? Nobody else had a bigger voice than she did at that time. So I tell her this, and I tell you that it had to be her. Am I fucking horrified that it took that long?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting. There's many of us women, many of us. But I'm glad it was her, and I'm glad that she's still fighting. I'm not sure if I would have had it in me, to be honest.
So big mental load to take on.
Yeah. And you know, when they did the internal investigation within the company and they interviewed me, brought back a lot of stuff. I was kind of troubled for about a year. I'm like, oh, this is still in me. And then speaking again before the Human Rights Tribunal, that brought up a lot of stuff. And I can't imagine how she's doing. I think that she wakes up every day and just works on this case. Yeah. You know, it's kind of all consuming for her. She needs a break after this one.
So that video that you recorded outside of the Toronto courthouse, talk about that moment in facing your abuser in the same room for the first time in how many years?
I got to tell you a story about what happened there. I hope I can.
Okay.
I hope this
is okay. Please.
I was so nervous. I was so nervous going up, getting out of the Uber at Bay Street and walking in there, and I was looking at the instructions, like you take third floor up and then you turn left and go into the right. So I'm so fixated on like what room to go in. And I didn't once think that I might see him before. I had always envisioned just being in there and him being on a stand or something. But I walk in and I see this man and this blonde woman sitting there, and I'm still focused on the room. And all of a sudden I hear, "What did you say? The fuck did you say?" And I turn, and it's John Derringer. And I went, oh, I looked at him. I said, "John, I would have no idea it's you. And he's talking to my husband. My husband was behind me and looked at him and called him a name. But I didn't know. I didn't even recognize. I didn't know what Jeff's my husband. I didn't know he was doing that. So I was like, and I'm hearing this yelling again. I'm like, holy shit.
And you knew right away it was him.
Oh, then I did. And then my husband looked at him and said, you going to have a little tantrum today like the little baby that you are? I'm like, whoa. His lawyer pops up. Time to get Jeff out of the room. Time to get John out of the room. And John starts flipping back. And I turned to him and I said, John, your time for talking is over. And it was like, oh, shit. I never to even say his name. I just never thought I'd be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, hearing him and seeing him in that space and remembering the way his mannerisms and the words that he would use and how he would weasel his way out of situations, but especially hearing him say, if I had to do it all over again, I'd do it the same.
Oh, when I heard that, I wanted to barf in my mouth. Oh,
fuck off. How can you say that? How can you say something like that? And then hearing, I don't know how much we can talk about what we saw in court, but how many other people he'd abused, that made complaints about him. And does he have zero self-worth? Is he that much of a narcissist that he
well,
really...
as Maureen and I said on this podcast, it's like, could you just have a little remorse? Could someone just apologize?
No.
Yeah, I was a dick. And I'm sorry would be it would go much further than this whole case.
I know, but we're never going to get that. And we can't wait for that because it's never going to happen. So I've let that go a long time ago. If that man was going to apologize, he would have done it a long time ago.
But yeah, to be that clueless that you think that everyone else is the problem but you.
Yeah. But I mean, wow, it's almost amazing, isn't it?
That's incredible.
Bravo.
Well, I'm glad that you're laughing right now because that moment feels like a moment you needed to have.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was wild. Didn't recognize him.
Was that the day Maureen was on the stand?
She would. No, it was the day that John was on the stand.
Oh, wait. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah. I watched some of that online. People don't know that they can access this online. It's all public, right?
Yeah. And so I've actually received a few emails, people looking for it. I can only put the public link and then you have to go request the recordings.
Right.
I can't give it to you.
Yeah.
So if you want to go down the rabbit hole, there's lots in there for you, but you have to go get it yourself. I will
within
again
24 hours they'll give you a way in and you can watch. You can also go in there. There's not a ton of seats.
Yeah. No, and that's why I think it's just important. Jen and I didn't know each other, but we've become friends through this process and I've talked to her a lot.
She's great.
And for her to look behind her and see us, that is what I want for anybody who's going through this, is to know that you're not alone. No. You are not crazy, and we're here in support of you.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you, I think, I don't want to speak for everybody.
Yeah.
I think we're all still afraid of him.
Yeah.
I think we're afraid.
I'm afraid, and I've never even met him.
Yeah. And I say now, 52-year-old Colleen, would that have happened to me? Absolutely not. I wouldn't have cared about money and current job. I would have just left and said, this is fucking weird.
Yeah.
What's happening to me here?
Yeah.
But he's a scary guy. He's scary.
What disgusted me, I'm glad you're here for this episode because I almost did a solo episode sort of reflecting on what I witnessed when I went to the courthouse. Because I went a second time. It would have been, I think, the day after you. I think I was there the day after you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was while John was on the stand.
Yeah.
And I, too, had a run-in the hallway seated area outside the room that they were in, where it was just him and his wife and me. Oh. And I almost didn't even realize, just kind of the same as you, because I was like, where am I going, right?
Yeah.
Just trying to find my way. And he was sitting out there. What I gathered, my experience anyway, was that he was excited to have a room to broadcast to.
Yes.
I was like, oh, because you've been off the air, you're enjoying this? Gross.
He had a stage, man. He had a stage.
Yeah.
And
Gross.
I thought the same thing. There he is.
Yeah.
Talking about his skill set.
Yeah. He almost found it enjoyable to recoup how great of a broadcaster he was through this process. And it's like, oh, dude, you know, like
Wasn't
you
that
were.
something? Oh, he was involved in the hiring, the firing, and music, and it's like, what? But I'll tell you this, they gave him that power. They
They
did it.
did. That's the problem behind all of
Yeah,
it. We can blame him as much as we want to, but the problem is who
yeah.
enabled it.
Were they afraid of him too, I wonder?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Think
And yes,
maybe? I'll tell you what hurt me, without saying names, of course, is
yes, sure.
hearing that some people are still aligned with him, that he had to talk about people from that company who still tried to keep in touch. And that kind of broke my heart a little bit.
People that we thought were good people.
Well, it's not that they're bad. It's that, are they still afraid of him? Do they still want to make him happy? Do they, I don't know if they're bad people. It made me, maybe they are bad people. I don't know. I found it disappointing.
Yeah,
I found it
that's
disappointing that people
a
still
good word.
wanted to be in his world a little bit, even after
Yeah.
all these people have come forward. It's like, really? You still want to be associated with that? So I kind of, it made me, that day I realized
Yeah.
who I could trust and not, and who's in my circle. And
Yeah.
oh shit, man, I don't miss it. I don't miss it. You know, after I left Q107 and went down the street, as they would call the Hamilton, within 1 month, they gave me a massive Q107 award. I don't know if you've seen them on people's walls. Some people get them every year. And it was totally a shut up
Award?
trophy. It was totally like a, you better take this and keep your mouth shut kind of thing. So it's hanging in my washroom and it makes me laugh.
Yeah. So when you're doing business in the bathroom, it's there.
There's your shut up and keep working. Yeah.
Well, and what was it like, the silence? Like, what did it do to you, and how did you take care of yourself? Like, take the career outside of it. Like, how did you take care of yourself during this whole process? Like, this is not an easy thing to go through.
No, it's far from normal. I went to therapy. I
Yeah.
have had and have the best group of friends ever.
Yeah.
I got a girl posse that's insane.
Yeah.
That I had on call for phone calls and glasses of wine. And
Is Howard
yeah,
Glassman one of the girls? I feel like he is.
Howard Glassman, absolutely, he's one of the girls. Oh my God, yeah, so stupid. Yeah, they're amazing people. But yeah, therapy certainly helped,
Yeah.
and I still kind of go back and forth. Stu once gave me the greatest advice. He said, every time something really big and major, whether it's good or bad, go to therapy. Got a new kid? Go to therapy. Bought a house? Go to therapy.
Interesting.
Big life change? Go to therapy. So I keep that in mind. And has Derringer and that trauma been a part of it? Absolutely.
Right.
Hands down. I think
Yeah.
it changed who I am as a person and as a broadcaster, and I had to fight my way back when I didn't really know what kind of a broadcaster I was.
Yeah.
But it definitely changed my trajectory, and
Yeah.
I love where I went from there. I didn't deserve that to happen to me or any of these women. I'm glad that I continued with a career with better people
Yes.
and different companies.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, Sarah, there's a lot of women, and I can think of a few who had that experience with him that never did it again. That
Yeah. They
didn't.
decided it was done. Yeah.
Yes, they didn't continue to be broadcasters, and that
And
breaks
that's
my heart.
something for all of us to mourn.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, again, it's that idea of why should the women who have experienced this have to pick up the pieces? It should not. What do you think changed on air for you moving forward? So, like, the first gig after Derringer would have been with Darren Laidman in Hamilton?
Darren Laidman, Nicholas Pickles. We were syndicated so we did it was a morning show for Barrie, London, Kitchener, and Hamilton. It was wild. I felt afraid to speak up. I felt afraid. I didn't know. I was really good at reading moods. I became an expert of reading moods at that point in the room. So I was afraid if somebody wasn't doing well, I'd be like, are you okay? Or what's going on? You know, maybe not talk to him today, or, not being too opinionated. Just played it real safe for a while. And that actually was a good space for me to do it in, to play it safe. I became braver as I went. But do I feel a room from a mile away? Absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah. So I don't know who I would have been without that experience, but I know who I am because of it.
Yeah.
And the echoes of that continued. But in the last few years, I didn't really have that anymore. I let
Do
go
you
of
have
it.
anything in your life right now, or as of late, where you have the opportunity to collaborate or speak to up and comers in radio, broadcasting, or adjacent industry?
I used to a company that I worked for liked mentorship. I
Yeah,
love that. I love talking to
yeah,
young people in this industry. I'd love to do it again. Sometimes people will still send me tapes and stuff. I'm like, oh, let's listen. What can you do?
yeah.
Um, but no, not as of late. Is it because there's less of the up and
Yes,
comers?
100%. Yeah,
Probably. I don't know
yeah,
about you, but when I was in radio, interns became um kind of non-existent at the end. We didn't have people in the room
yeah.
to learn from us anymore. Yet they
Yeah,
love
they
the
were.
podcasts. I'm like, podcast is kind of like radio. Come on.
Yeah, I'm doing a panel at an upcoming like independent podcasters conference where it's about the idea. I'm doing it with Matt Kundle. You probably know that name.
Yeah, amazing.
Matt Kundle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Matt's like my work husband in podcasting.
See?
We
Yeah.
yeah, we swap a lot of stories, share some resources, etc. Anyway, so Matt's been an amazing mentor of mine in the podcast space,
Great.
and yeah, so the panel we're doing is like the things that you borrow from radio that you should definitely be thinking about in podcasting because it's a privilege to have a microphone and there is some of that missing, right?
Excellent.
But what are the things that you leave behind from radio that do not serve a podcast audience because it is a different type of medium, right? If you were going to, not that you are, but if you were going to, crack a mic and have your own show in 2026, what do you think you'd be covering?
Oh my God, that's a great question.
Like, yeah, what are your interests and passions that I feel like you got caught up in a current that you didn't have a lot of time to react to, and it was like
No.
keep swimming, keep swimming, keep swimming. So yeah, if it were up to you how you did things, I just wonder what you would have done.
It's funny. I've always sat in your chair, right? I like
Yeah,
doing the interviews. Do
yeah.
you know what The Moth is?
The Moth.
The Moth. It's like a speaking series that happens in big cities around the
No.
world, and you're
Okay.
given a minute to 2 minutes to tell a story. And sometimes they're heartbreaking, and sometimes they're beautiful and sad and romantic, but it's always a great story. It's based on just good storytelling, but it's open
Okay.
to everybody. I would love to do a Moth where I live now with just people that I meet because everybody has a good story. So it's less about me. It's more about helping you tell that story and to get on that microphone. I want to help you do that. That's what I'd be interested in doing now.
I feel like that's a podcast. You let me know if we need to talk about that. What is the most interesting thing about you? Essentially, is like that's the pitch to anyone you're talking
everybody
to.
has a story, right?
Everybody
wanna hear
does,
it.
and that is the beauty of radio and podcasting. That skill of pulling out something that everyone can relate to, even if it's an experience they've never had.
Yeah. You can
Right?
teach something, you know,
Yeah.
you cry. Don't make
Yeah.
me cry, Sarah.
So we are coming up to the end of the show, and I want to just give you like a prompt to think about because I end the show by asking you to nominate like a couple women in the industry who you admire who should come on the show and tell their stories, like a passing of the torch kind of thing. So think on that for a minute. But yeah, as like we're in the middle of this human rights tribunal case. I don't think it's meant to wrap until the fall. If I have that correct.
I think you do have that correct. So I'm actually like doing something because I want to get this right, what you just asked me.
Okay.
It is going to be in the fall, and I think it'll be current management.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting on the stand.
Yeah, some of our former managers are still there, right? So
women that are there. I hate saying I can't wait, but I'm very interested.
Oh yeah.
I'm very
Maureen
interested.
and I were calling it the Super Bowl, so.
Oh, are you? Oh my God, do you want to watch it together? No, let's watch it like it's Oscar night. Let's get all dressed up, eat popcorn, and watch.
Yeah. But I want to be in court to support Jen through all of that stuff.
Well, then I'll see you there. How about that?
Yeah. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go, dude.
Yeah. I will tell you, and I told Maureen about this, but I got some of the facts wrong, so I left it out of the episode. I needed to correct myself. But my first day where I went to support Jen in October, I was picked out right away. Oh, and I believe Sarah from the Women in Media podcast is here. And I just was like in my seat, I felt the sweat go down my back, and I was like, oh my God, I don't like this spotlight right now.
Oh, I don't like that. Yeah.
Right? And I think they were going to play a clip from the podcast, but they didn't. I did a 2-parter with Jen Valentine after her Facebook video. So anyway, all that to say, like, as we come to the end of this experience, like, yeah, what are your hopes for what comes out of this and the industry at large?
I know Maureen said just a damn apology would be great.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I really hope for is that companies pay attention, that this shit doesn't happen anymore. We need to protect women in the workplace. Not that it was just women, but it was, we have to protect people better. We say we're doing it, but that's a crock of shit. We can do a lot better.
Totally.
I don't want to hear these stories anymore. I want to hear about successful people that don't get held back by maniacs, by literal maniacs that are protected by management. Do you know how many times I was reminded when I went back to chorus that he was the engine that drove the country, that my paycheck is a direct result out of his success? That's what was being said at meetings. And every time I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like,
this is when you went back, and how many years in between?
Oh my God, 12 years in between.
And that was still being said.
That was still up until like 2 years ago, up until before he, our success is based on Q107 morning show success. So you better be good. You better, just understand that's what's paying your, your paycheck.
I'd rather not. I'm out.
Yeah. I'm okay.
And and I mean, eventually you made a decision for yourself to get out of radio anyway, but
yeah,
okay.
I did.
On to admiring other women. There's a chance that I may have had them on the show before, but anyone that comes to mind that you think I really need to have on this show?
I'm sure you've had the biggies. You've had the Aaron Davis and Marilyn Dennis. They're great, aren't
Marilyn.
they?
Yeah, Marilyn's retiring from her show, so I mean, I'll have to put in another request, I'm sure.
So I mean, do you know about the Trailblazers?
Yeah,
that women. So I used to go to that every year, and it was so neat to watch these young people up and coming. But I found sometimes it's a bit of a popularity contest.
Oh yeah.
So my former program director at Boom, she's now left the company to. Oh, shoot. See, I'm not even radio. You know how you lose the radio lingo like fast? You forget who owns what and what. Anyway, she's still a program director in Ottawa. Her name's Stephanie Spring. I think she has incredible stories, and her fighting her way to become not just a program director, but a very talented one. Good eye for talent. Open, honest, has a lot of stories. I think she would be great for this podcast.
She's been a boss of mine before. I didn't even tell you that.
What? So you know her. So you knew her where then?
She was my boss for a very short period of time. So I was only in Kingston at my first full-time radio gig at FM 96 Kingston, which we used to call the Bizarro FM 96 because there was the London one as well.
Yeah.
I started in London on weekends and summer cruiser and traffic reporting and all that stuff. First full-time gig, Kingston for Bizarro FM 96. And I was doing evenings, and then it became middays and music. And then my boss at the time, Brad Gibb, got hired back in London.
Yeah, I know Brad.
Yeah, he got hired back in London. And so he brought me back with him to London, where I got evenings in London and eventually afternoons. So Steph was my boss for I'm going to say a month or 2 months. I have no doubt that Steph has been through it in this industry.
She's been through it.
Yeah.
And head high, chest out, full of dignity, mad respect. I don't think she's had it easy in that world.
Yeah.
Being a
interesting
manager.
To hear about. Totally.
The other person I that has become a friend of mine through chorus is Tara Dawn Woodstone. She does mornings in Barrie. I don't know if you know her.
Okay.
She's a queen.
Tara, I think I've been at her house she has a pool. Right?
She's my friend, and you've been to her house with a pool, and I haven't been to her house with a pool?
I was dating a guy who was program director in Barrie, and I went to her pool for some little radio get-together at some point.
Yeah, I think she does have a pool. Great.
I think it was her house.
Why don't you just take all my friends? Your pool friends now.
But yeah, I really like Tara. I only met her once, but yeah, she was very warm and very nice.
Smart. Has a lot to say. Hasn't had it easy either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, I have to say this because I reached out to Colleen when her little Instagram video showed up in my feed that day, and I was heartbroken watching you relive your trauma in real time. And I completely understand, why it felt like the right time for you to, actually finally say something about it after keeping it to yourself for so long.
Well, what you don't know is when all this stuff was happening,
Yeah.
my inbox would be flooded, inundated with people
Yeah.
from those jobs going, "You okay? You okay? Should I
Yeah.
finally say something?" Like, I'm talking
Yeah.
like hundreds of messages of people and like,
Yeah.
"We know that you're part of this. Are you good?" So I'm like, "I think maybe I should say something." But you know
Yeah.
what I hate is that I still have to be careful.
Yeah.
Like, is
Fuck
someone going to
being
come after
careful.
me? Is someone going to sue me now? This was my experience. Why can't I talk about it? It really bothers me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No, I totally get that. And I just wanted to say thank you for being open to have this conversation. I certainly, left it in your hands if you were feeling comfortable or not. And I'm really happy to get to know you. I feel like if we had crossed paths in person, we would be friends already.
I know. And you know what? I like you. I can already tell that we're
Oh,
going to be friends.
oh,
Not
I'm
if you keep
excited.
going to my friends' houses that have pools and not inviting me, though.
Okay,
Bullshit.
we'll work on that part. But yeah, I will meet you at the courthourse. Let's get this thing.
Okay, well, we'll be in touch. It's in the fall.
Yeah.
We don't know the dates yet, but I
I'll
can't wait to
have
hug
a
you.
margarita with you before the fall at some point too, though. If you
Don't say shit unless you mean it, because I am that person.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for having this conversation with me today, and I'm amazed at how you pulled through, and I'm so glad that you continued your career after all that shit.
Me too. Thanks for making me feel comfortable. Again, you're the first person I've talked to about this stuff. I think you're great. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm a fan. Maybe we'll start a podcast about helping people tell stories. Come on, I got to get back in the game, Sarah.
Thank you.